What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how to run a post corner route. We're literally going to be talking about how to run a post corner versus every single coverage look that you will see. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we are going to be traveling out to 15 states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camps. So we're going to be coming out to San Francisco, then Orlando, New Orleans, Charlotte, Dallas, the DMV, St. Louis, Honolulu, Hawaii, Boston, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys are local to one of those cities, would like to get some work in with us for 2 days, 8 hours of training total, fellas, check out that very first link below. We would absolutely love to have you out. Let's get started with this video. So now, on this post corner route here, so we're going to be talking about press coverage first. So when I got this press coverage look outside shade and I have to run a post corner, obviously since it's a double move, selling the post matters. You have to be able to sell the first part of the move. Whether you're running a sluggo, a slant and go, a post corner, an out and up, that first move has to look exactly the same. So based on the coverage look that you see, you want to treat it like you're just running the single move route. You will still be able to get separation, and we're going to talk about how. So let's watch Xavier Worthy do this here. He does a split release, takes the inside release, breaks 3 steps, and gets that DB to bite. Now, everybody's biggest fear with an inside release on a post corner is that when they break to the post, that DB is going to stay over the top, and you're going to end up breaking that corner and running right into him. Not if we sell the route correctly. My idea as a wide receiver should not be, oh, well, what if the DB plays it correctly? It should be, no, what am I doing wrong that made the DB play it correctly? How can I sell the route better to force him to have to commit? Because this DB on every single rep when it's man coverage has a decision to make. He's got a decision to make a play on the ball, to commit to a certain route, to commit to a certain move. I need to make him commit. So when he breaks to this post, takes the inside release, you want to make it look the exact same. You got outside shade press, and you're just running a regular post, you would attack him maybe, give him a little jab to the outside, split release, head fake, take the inside release, and get skinny. Get him right on your inside hip. Want to make it look the exact same. So now when we break to the post, any type of double move, it is super important that we sell the double move with 3 specific things. So your eyes, everybody loves to talk about your eyes. I wouldn't even consider that the most important thing. Eyes are important, but a DB ain't supposed to be looking at your eyes. He's supposed to be reading your body language. So I would say your body language and your speed are the 2 most important things. So when he breaks to the post, remember on a post corner, it's only 3 steps. So the left foot is first, second, third, breaking off the 3rd step. Your hips and your shoulders have to be fully committed to the post. Now, the eyes do play a role because when you look back to the quarterback, that helps you commit your hips and your shoulders. But if you're looking forward, I'm not saying you won't be able to get separation like that. I would love you to look back to the quarterback. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying it is more important that you commit here and you commit with your speed. Because the DB's reading those 2 things in man coverage. When he's playing you man coverage, press man, he's not reading, your head. Where's he looking? He's, okay, where's his body going? I'm going to follow his hips. And if he changes speed, I'm going to expect a break. So whenever you break to the post, and maybe they're aware of a double move, maybe they know you like to run a lot of double moves, if you change your speed and you slow down to the post, or you take choppy strides, that just lets that DB know you're making a break or a break is coming. So when you break to the inside, I got to fully commit my hips and shoulders. I got to run full stride, full speed, and be able to break right off that 3rd step. That forces him to commit and try to undercut it. And obviously a pump fake from the quarterback or a little head fake will definitely help. But that's how you would run that post corner versus outside shade press. Let's play this thing full speed, and then we will get to the next coverage look that you will see. So now, the next look we're going to discuss here is from Davante Adams on a press bail situation. So it's like I come down, I got press, and then he bails out of there. So pretty much, honestly, when it's a post corner, like we said, you want to run it exactly like how you would run a regular post because that's still going to get you open. It is still going to sell the route. We have to run the first route first. So let's watch what Davante Adams does here. He comes out, he starts attacking that DB's toes, closing the space, breaks to the post for 3 steps, and is able to win. Easy money route. Now, let's talk about it because we already talked about how to sell the break. Just how would you structure it against this? So we got press bail. DB starts to bail out of there. He's outside shade. Main thing is we want to close the distance. We do not want to run away from him because when we run away from him, we are giving him too big of a gap in order to recover. So what Adams does here is he doesn't change up his stem at all. He goes straight forward. He's closing the space, getting right into this DB's cushion. So when he does break to the post, that gives him not enough space to recover. If this DB's 2 yards wider and we're breaking on a post corner and I go back, he's got 2 extra yards of space in order to recover and take the angle up top. So anytime that you have that press bail, let's get into his toes. Let's try to step on his toes and then break to that post. Okay, so these are the two probably easier looks I feel. Outside shade press and outside shade zone. Now we're going to talk about how to run some post routes, or post corner routes, I should say, against inside shade, whether that's off man, press man, or zone. So let's play this full speed. So press bail fellas, running that post corner. Biggest thing is closing the distance, step on his toes so he doesn't have room to recover. Then you sell the route the exact same way. So we're going to look at Julio Jones running this post corner here. Now, you might consider this like kind of a blaze out or a post out, if you will. I would consider it more of a post out because he only takes one step. But because he goes a little bit flat, fellas, it's the same concept. Nothing changes. Just because his angle is a little bit flatter and this might be a post out instead of a post corner, nothing changes about how you would structure the route. Same type of break, same type of idea. So we have inside shade, like kind of off man coverage. So if I got in pre-snap, it looks like off man. So what would you do? How would you run a post versus inside shade off man? Just a regular old post. Would you square him up and attack his leverage? No, probably not, right? Because then he's going to weave to the inside. And then the spacing of the play is off and you're running right into him. So what you would want to do is you would want to split the defender into two. You would attack the outside shoulder. You would go right at his outside shoulder. You would go fast. You would self-fade, try to get him to flip his hips so we could slip under him. Or simply just try to get him to backpedal out of there. But when it's a post corner, that certainly helps when he starts backpedaling and he just doesn't sit. So let's watch what Julio Jones does here. Full stride, full speed, good arm pump, and you see that gets the DB to backpedal and get out of there so he could sell the route. So he goes here. Remember, everything's got to look like a fade. Head down, running full stride, running full speed, and probably like they're on the red zone. This DB probably in open space would probably do what? Open up his hips and run. Because he's probably threatened a little bit more by the vertical. Rather than when they're in the red zone, he's not threatened too much by the vertical because there's not much space Julio can run, right? But this is still how you would attack the route. We have to get this guy moving. We have to get him off his block. If you come off the ball and you got inside shade and you're running that post corner, that brings you back to the same thing we were talking about earlier, like the mindset of a receiver. It's not what if the DB plays it well, it's what did I do to make him play it well? How can I sell the route better? So when we come off the ball, if you're running up and you start jogging, like right before the break point, you change speeds, you chop your stride, you maybe raise your pad level up a little bit, that's just going to make this DB sit and you're going to run right into him. So we have to make it look like a fade. Everything's got to look like a 9. Everything has to look like a deep ball until it's not. And then Julio breaks, sells this thing for 3 steps. You see hips and shoulders are fully committed. You see he's looking forward, not necessarily looking back to the QB. Hips and shoulders are there, running full stride, full speed. All of that is what gets the DB to bite. But we have to make sure that the stem of the route is correct, and I know how to structure the route versus different coverage looks. That's a great job right there by Julio. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job attacking, pushing at that outside shoulder, and then selling that post to win on this route. So now, last example here, and this is kind of an awkward way to run this route. This is actually, I would deem an incorrect way to run this. I personally don't like how he runs it, and we're going to talk about why. But some of you might feel this way, and this is how you would want to run it. So we're just going to talk about why you wouldn't do this, pretty much. So we have inside shade, like I would consider it off man, but you could treat this the exact same way as if he was maybe a little bit closer in like some kind of like catch technique, but he's inside shade nonetheless. And he's not inside shade like the last example at the break point where we could just go at his shoulder. He's kind of just right in the way. So how would you run a post corner against this? So what this wide receiver does is he kind of forces the inside release here. And you see how he gets kind of, the route works, don't get me wrong, but he gets kind of forced way inside. Now, in a real game scenario, obviously spacing matters a whole ton. You know, you got full play concepts. Like you're maybe running like a post corner from the outside and then the slot receiver's running like a curl or I don't know, whatever play concept you have. But if we get forced way to the inside, there's so much traffic to the inside of the field. We never want to get rerouted across the field or rerouted and squeezed to the sideline. We always want to try to keep the best spacing as possible. And that comes from knowing how to attack your routes. So when we got inside shade coverage and I got to run a post corner and, you know, maybe I go at him and then I just kind of force the post sell where I look to the inside, I peek my eyes back, and then I break this thing off. A better DB or a better rep by this DB will probably take this route away because he will stay a little bit more square. He will probably keep his leverage a little bit better, and you'll be running with him the entire time with him right in your face if that DB would have kept his leverage a little bit better. So how I would have structured this route, or how I maybe would have coached you guys to structure this route, is okay, let's attack him first. Let's threaten that leverage, take the outside release, sell the post, then back to the corner. Because I love a post corner when this DB's on your inside hip. Like it should be, you should have no fear of running a post corner with an outside release. Because if that DB breaks, like if you're here, if you take to the outside and that DB's on your inside hip and you break to the post and he's still on your inside hip, that's an easy way to get back to the corner. So ideally, we want it against inside shade press because I can still win to the outside. So fellas, only reason I bring this up is just do not force your routes. Do not force it because, oh, I got to sell the post. I got to get across his face. Hey, you could still sell the post with an outside release. It's about keeping spacing, number one, getting to the depth of the route, and being a salesman with the route. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Again, good job selling it, right? Hips and shoulders committed. He ran. He obviously won the route, but we could be a little bit more efficient with our movement on that. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you'd like to train with us in 15 different locations this offseason, we are excited to get out to you. Check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.